I got to experience the wonderful miracle of birth. And let me tell you what it looks like. It looks like the bottom of a sink. Because like it's very awkward when you're like a frum guy, you know, like it's not sneeze. So like you got to run to the other side of the room and you're staring in the sink and you're like saying Tehillim. You're like, the nurse is like, well, what are you doing? I'm just talking down here. I'm okay. You know, and then like I knew the baby was born. The nurse came over to me and was like, you know, do you hear all the crying and the screaming? And I was like, not, I'm in my own zone. She's like, no, that's you. Your wife is trying to focus, you know, could you stop? He did get the laughers on. Thanks guys. So, yeah, and it's the truth is it's a little awkward. As soon as like, I mean, you college students will totally like identify with this, but as soon as a woman, her water breaks, she becomes a nida. So it's very, very awkward. Like you're like, you know, honey, push, you're holding her hand. It's going to be okay. And then all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, back off. I'm showing it here. It's the same thing. Many people might not know this. It's the same thing actually when someone unfortunately, if their father or mother if a parent passes away of a spouse, they suddenly become nida. You're not allowed to touch them. Again, it's really awkward. You're like hugging them, you know, a father saying vidui over there in the bed. Like, oh, this is so sad. Don't worry, everything will be okay. And all of a sudden it flatlines, beep, 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 and you're just like, whoa, Shara. It's very awkward. So yeah, that's a giving birth situation, but it makes sense. Like I really get why the Chazal said like, you know, no, like get away from the room, because like they go the non-Jews like go like the entire opposite direction. They're filming the entire birth. They're getting like in real close, you know, like oh. Like, what are they going to use that footage for? It's not like it's going to be like the child's wedding, and it's like, all right, everyone look at the big screen. We're going to start from the very beginning. All right, wait 5 seconds. The bris part is coming. Although it does make sense. You save a lot of money on the main course, so maybe we should. Anyway. The next part that gets really awkward after that was the naming of the child. Like by a boy, it's like easy. There's a bris. Everything. By a girl, you got to find a minion. So I go to the minion, and my family, like we all have these weird traditions. You don't want, like, who are you going to name after? Everyone wants to know who you're going to name after. You know, is it going to be Donald Trump? Is it going to be like Donald Trump's wife? And that's just my show. Sorry. But in my family, it's like, we don't want to name after someone who's dead because, I mean, they're dead. Like, it didn't work, the name. We don't want to name after someone who's alive because, like, what if they commit some horrible crime? Like, you never know the real person. So, like, the Gabbai is like, what name, you know, like, he's like, saying the Beirach. And, like, what name do you want to use? I'm like, surprise me. So he says, dirty cheapskate. Like in retrospect, I probably should have given him the $1.50 I owed him, like before. Like, you know, like, so win or lose. Then he was like, Bas Yochanan Evadia. And I was like, Yochanan Evadia? That's the name of my mailman. I mean, yeah, he did surprise me. Let's do that, you know? So, yeah. And then there's like, people have these weird ayin haras, you know? Like I told everyone comes, they want to see the baby, you show them pictures, and they're like, she's so beautiful. She is, and then my brother-in-law, I show him the baby, you know, on like Zoom, like, you know, like here you go, here's the baby. And he's like, wow, she's ugly. I know she's ugly, but you're like, you're not supposed to say it out loud. He's like, no, she's ugly. I'm like, what? And it turns out it's an ayin hara, like al tiftach pelasatan. You don't want to say like something bad because maybe, I don't know, maybe maybe like Hashem will suddenly make her ugly. So instead, you just say she's like, if you said she's beautiful, because you just say she's ugly, and then like everything's good. So, but I just wonder how far that goes. I mean, he's married to my sister. Like, you know, like she's like, how am I looking? I'm about to go to the wedding, and he's like, disgusting. Happy Valentine's Day. You look like trash. Like, does this work? Like after At what point does it stop? Like after death, does it work like that? Like, you know, like we're gathered here. Like my bubby was just a terrible human being. She stole millions of dollars from so many people. And her face, I mean, cross-eyed, buck teeth, one ear was like a lot larger than the other, you know. Speedy, I feel like you're getting into a lot of details there, you know. All right. Anyway, everyone, grab some shovels. Let's dig some dirt and throw it over her deformed body. See, you went too far there. Sorry. Okay. So another beautiful thing. This is a really beautiful thing about being a frum Jew is you guys know about Shifra and Pua. It's after a woman gives birth, so the community gathers together and they organize breakfasts and suppers, and you're like covered. It's beautiful. And the truth is, though, some of the like food comes more like Shifra, and some of the food comes more like Pua, if you know what I'm saying. And so luckily we're like kind of popular, so we're pretty much covered all the way till her bas mitzvah. Anyway, I think that's my time because my wife just called me. She has to go back to the hospital. She has a Shiloh to ask about Rav, who had a heart attack.
Oh my God.
Oh, way too much Frosted Flakes. I mean, they're really good.